The more I watch of this show, the more I am saddened by the fact that it's not a two core. And of any show I'm watching this season that's not already confirmed for two cores, this is probably the one I would be like, if I could give any show an extra 10 episodes minimum, this one. We're unfortunately watching a Villainess style show, and these never get second seasons, and I think this one, for the love of God, if they don't give it an ending, even if it's anime original, I'll take that. This needs to get a season 2 out of any Villainess show I've seen recently. We are witnessing isekai history with this one. This isn't the first time we've had dual perspectives. You can look at, even literally rewind to yesterday's show, possibly The Greatest Alchemist. There's a disconnect in timelines, and there's actually a dual perspective. Very underutilized, but still, you can even look from this season, shows do this. Rewind to stuff like So I'm a Spider, So What? Disconnect, dual perspectives. That does happen, but what hasn't happened in these shows is, especially when it's like, okay, character gets killed or coma, whatever it's gonna be, now they're inside what is supposed to be a video game. And the idea that you have this otaku weeby family that completely now knows after last week's episode that dad is inside the game, and now because of this, we get to have an episode like this where we had 3 points of views. The first of which started the episode off watching the dad deal with the current dilemma because he's dealing with this magical dragon that has 2 elements, 2 forms, and, he's talking about men, he's like, oh shit, they don't know what that is. All really fun stuff, completely good. 5 minutes go by, then you're looking at it from the mom and daughter's point of view, and how they're the ones who put in the name of the dragon. They're the ones who's giving the prompts, like, oh, I'm gonna select for dad that it's gonna switch elements. It's so cool seeing that, because now we have so much more room to influence the story in such a unique way, and then we cut back to the dad after that, and he finishes up the episode. It's just doing something that we've never really seen. I don't think there's been a single Villainess show that's ever done this type of perspective warp, not to mention the fact that because of how nerdy they are, it allows for the show to have a level of charm that you're not normally gonna see. It is ridiculous that they're just completely okay with dad being in this game, but they're so weebed out of their mind, I can accept it. There's a moment in this episode where a delivery comes, and mom's like, don't worry, keep playing the game, I'm gonna go get... And I'm like, ma'am, your husband's in a video game. Oh, okay. And then daughter leaves the damn game on autoplay to go pay the delivery guy. This is probably what would actually happen if you get the maximum weeb who had a family and somehow this bullshit occurred. This show is legitimately turning out to be a freaking masterpiece in ways I never thought possible. And if they keep this up, this could very well be in a top 3 of the season. I ain't gonna lie. Of course, if you want to support my work though, see my full thoughts on these episodes, we got the Patreon, we got those full live reactions available exclusively over there if you're so interested. So I'm in love in this one. The funny thing, too, is I truly think the first 2 episodes of this show, they looked fine. I'm not saying, they looked bad, but it looked like, average or even slightly below average what you would expect for these Villainess-style shows. But then something happened. 3 onwards, the production just got better. To a point where I'm actually impressed. I'm not just being like, oh, it's serviceable. No, there's so much style to the animation and art direction these days. And I think it's because the show's more self-aware, and it's not trying to cover up that it's just a normal, boring Villainess show at this point. No, it's full-on weeby craziness, and I think because of it, the production is now able to have a lot more fun rather than trying to be more subtle than it was. Because there was definitely some cutesy moments in the first couple of episodes, but now we have characters just... the glistening effects and all the silly art and animation directions they'll do, it just makes it feel so much more style-filled, I guess is the best way to put it. There's just so much more personality oozing from these characters. One of the things that's the trope in these series is that character tries to be Villainess and fails. And I will say recently, the past couple of shows that I've watched in this kind of department, I've actually enjoyed how they've handled the Villainess role. Look at the Villainess show from last season, Villainess who goes down in history. Love that shit. But I think with the dad, what works so well is, in this episode, he tries to play the Villainess role. He explicitly is like, okay, I'm going to be a little more mean because I need to push Anna into, training up better so she can go over here. She's the main character. She's supposed to be the love interest. And his words, I wouldn't say they were mean, but they were a lot more harsh and stern. And the way, like, immediately you knew, like, I understand why they're going to misrepresent this, but you can't say the dad's an idiot. He's just a gentle soul. He's dad mode at most. And like when he's mean, it's more stern dad saying, I'll be disappointed if you don't do this. Make me proud, son or daughter. And the way it's just like, you want me to be your assistant. It's like, for the love of God, that is not what he said. But this is one of the most genuine. I understand why the characters misrepresent, and the way they explain these moments, I think they call it elegance cheat. Dad's elegance cheat is probably the best representation of the bullshit that we are witnessing. Like, look at the start of the episode. Dad fully explains that I'm two souls in one. Like, he dropped that bombshell casually. And I thought it was a little crazy, but the longer it went on, I thought to myself, maybe he has built up a lot of aura points with the general populace around here. Immediately they're like, yes. Maturing. You hit puberty. You found yourself. That makes sense. And I'm sitting here like, bitch, why is this, like, is this wizard just constantly high as shit? Like, what is he doing? Because it seemed like the general crowd was like, oh my god, there's two souls. And apparently that's a plot point in the game. It's just the plot point in the game is evil soul. But given we knew it was going to be fine, given the general, like, she's been good this whole school year, but still, like, it was very, very funny. It's just, there's been a lot of really good isekai as of late. This season in particular, most of the shows that should be the most generic run-of-the-mill bullshit are doing like even slightly something different. Like, we're in a really good season, especially in the fantasy department, whether characters have been reincarnated, reborn, transported, or just in a straight-up fantasy environment. But this is the show that's like, it's really, this and Zenshu, man. Like, these are the two like new ones that are just like, they're doing something so freaking cool, and they deserve so much more praise than they're even currently getting. Like, not to say this one's, like, criminally slept on. I do still think a lot of people are sleeping on it, thinking it's just your run-of-the-mill Villainess show. But I think most people who have given it a shot have been arguably impressed. But I think this show is legitimately building into a masterpiece level. I know, like, every time a new Villainess show comes out, it feels like I'm just liking them more. But I think what it truly is that we started with the bare minimum with the Baccarina show. I enjoyed that show, but that's my least favorite Villainess show at this point. And we're at a point where so much anime is being made that we're actually getting the best shit right now being produced. And eventually there's going to come a point where we're going to end up having 6 of these shows per season and maybe 1 will be good at best. But right now it feels like maybe 1 or 2 get made, and yeah, one of them's like this hidden gem that's like, why the hell hasn't this been made before? Shit's good. We are building into some greatness territory, and the comedy is way more funny now that the mom and daughter are involved, and now that we know the mom's maybe even the worst weeb of all 3, because I still didn't see that coming. You let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're around here. Of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll just give you a video shout out. So today we got Laura Belly, Davis Grabala, Jesus, Samuel Salde, McFlurry, Konako 1110, Arya Hakusi, Teabag Owens, and we also have Kenneth Dade Schroeder. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. You all have a good one.